Okay, my fellow American citizens, today's date is January 10th, 2025. This is video 2 of at least a 3-part video series that's going to be titled The Bio-Robotization of Gang Stalking Targeted Individuals. Now, if you don't know anything about the crime that is known as gang stalking, and please excuse the way I look, but I am subject to so many different crimes, including continually, that are perpetrated through this crime. It takes a toll on your physical health and your physical experience. This is an across-the-board complaint amongst tens of thousands of victims who are reporting this crime on a daily basis all over America. You should also know that the crime of gang stalking is being identically perpetrated in many, many other countries around the world. This strongly suggests that at least militaries and or intel agencies are probably colluding together. There is no way a very detailed, specific, very unique type of crime, gang stalking as a criminal program, can be identically perpetrated all over America and identically perpetrated in numerous other countries around the world, identically perpetrated. There are hundreds of crimes occurring in this crime, so what I expose in the subject matter of this particular video obviously can be occurring to many other victims, but that's not what I necessarily completely mean concerning how the program is being identically perpetrated around the world and in America, which means this crime is involved in hundreds of crime motivations. But the general program of gang stalking, at least, is being identically perpetrated. Mathematically, that is impossible for that to be a coincidence. There's like a 1 chance per 20 billion for that to be a coincidence. That in of itself makes it a mathematical impossibility. Okay? Now I want you to listen to my statements, my fellow American citizens. This is video 2 of at least a 3-part video series that I'm going to title The Bio-Robotization of Humanity, Gang Stalking Crimes. Now, if you don't know anything about gang stalking, I'm aware that that description sounds peculiar and even somewhat science fictionist, because you do not have yet any information about this crime or detailed information about how something like this can be done. So if you pay attention to this account and you stay with it, sweetheart, you'll learn. You'll absolutely, that's a guarantee. Now, what I'm going to do before I segue back into the subject matter that was brought up and introduced to you and discussed with you in video 1, you want to watch this video in its sequence. Video 1, 2, 3 in its proper sequence. Because video 2, 3, and even if there's a video 4, each video is building upon information from the prior video. Stay with this account. Okay? The only way for you to know truth is to listen to the details and the facts behind it. The details and the facts unlock the truth. Just like putting a puzzle together. Okay? Bear with me 1 second, and there are going to be brief, even sudden interruptions in my speech for various reasons, because I got to try and get stuff done while I'm talking to you. You would not believe how this crime intentionally imposes itself, intrudes itself upon my daily life and my daily life functions. Absolutely, including my health. Oh, absolutely. Now, with all that being said, I'm going to start picking up where I left off at the tail end of video 1. No, actually, let me do a cognitive reset. I'm going to make some statements here, and I'm going to give you 15 seconds to get up and go get a pen and piece of paper, because I stated that in video 1, but you got to remember that sometimes when people go into your YouTube account, they might stumble across video 3 or 2 before they see video 1, so I'm going to give you 15 seconds to get up and go get a pen and piece of paper, so that you can take notes and use those notes as reference materials when you do the research based on what I state. So that 15 seconds starts right now. And you're not going to miss anything while you're up. Okay, now, for those people who didn't get up for whatever reason, I want you to know that my name is Leslie Williams. I am a nationally recognized whistleblower. Absolutely. I do not do drugs of any kind except for allergy medicine, an occasional sip of cough syrup because of nasal congestion and chest congestion, more than likely created through these demonic animals who host this crime. Excuse me, please. And I'm not a threat to myself or others. I'm not mentally ill in any way, shape, or form. And I definitely know how to take care of myself. If I didn't know how to take care of myself, I would literally already be dead. And if you think I'm the only victim of this crime saying that, trust me when trust me when I say, baby cakes, there are many other victims saying the same exact identical to a T thing. Now, I'm going to show you something, but I'm not going to expand on the reason why I'm showing it to you, so it might seem a little peculiar concerning the fact that I am showing it to you, but I'm going to show it anyways. It's for my own reasons. This charger right here is at 34%. Once I conclude this video will have a electronically saved date and time on the video file. That's for my own reasons. You don't need to understand it. Don't even think about it, okay? It's just something I'm doing because of my own personal reasons, okay? Now, my fellow American citizens, 15 minutes I'm sure has gone by now, so let me go ahead and make these initial statements, and then I'll segue back into the continued discussion of what I was talking about in video 1. Today's date is being January 10th, 2026, and you will know what video is part of this video series when you hear me state what video number it is by today's date, because I don't have time to title my videos right away when I upload them for various reasons. All of those reasons created because of being a continued target of this demonic crime. If there's any sudden interruptions in my speech, it's because I'm trying to get things done while I'm talking to you. I apologize for that. Now, what you want to do is you want to write down... Jesus, hold on a second. What you want to do is you want to write down, go to Google and to write down Dr. John Hall, Dr. John Hall, DR for doctor in short, Dr. John Hall, Bioethics Commission. Press the spacebar on your keyboard and then type in targeted individuals and or electronic harassment and or remote neural monitoring. Now, what you're going to discover is you're going to discover a transcript. Okay, you'll probably even discover some blogs written by other targets about that testimony. Okay, and or their own testimony, and they might include in their testimony the testimony from that commission. The Bioethics Commission that was going on in at least, I think, the years 2010 and 2011, which was created by then President Obama, okay, was basically a commission that got created so that supposedly people that have top-tiered appointed work descriptions within universities could act as who are appointed so they can oversee, supposedly, the ethics of research that is being done to humans, bioethics, the ethics of biology, okay? Bioethics Commission. It was a commission to talk about and conference with targeted individuals were allowed to testify at those commission hearings. The video is over 3 hours long. There's a YouTube video on concerning it, and the transcript from that commission is also on the internet. So you can find it by going to Google and typing in at Google Dr. John Hall, Bioethics Commission hearings, and then press the space on your keyboard and then type in either targeted individuals and or remote neural monitoring and or electronic harassment. Targeted individuals is a term that describes gang stalking torture victims. There are tens of thousands, there's actually hundreds of thousands of absolutely. Some people who are a lot more educated than I am, and trust me when I say, baby cakes, I am very educated, absolutely, are saying there's actually millions of Americans being targeted. And make no mistake about it, I have no problem believing that. Absolutely. If you knew what I know, folks, you would have had no problem believing it either. That's a guarantee. But in general, most educated victims are saying hundreds of thousands. Remember, 1 million is 100,000. So anyways, okay, so check this out. Alright, so what you want to do is when you bring up that YouTube video, because when you type that in at Google, you're not going to see I think it's a PDF file. Okay, whether it is or not, it doesn't matter. You're going to see it, let's just say it's a PDF file. You're going to see a PDF file of the transcript of everything said at that hearing, which includes the testimony of at least 30 or 40 targeted individuals, people like me. Okay? Now, what you want to do is you want to bring up the video, because these commission hearings were videotaped, which even show targeted individuals standing up and others who are advocating for us targeted individuals, like doctors, scientists, professors, openly up there talking to the commission, giving their 3-minute testimonies, okay? Including Dr. John Hall, okay, who's also been on national radio shows, who have literally answered questions when I've been on the national radio shows at times that he was on the national radio show. Okay, so just trust me. Okay, I'm aware of who Dr. John Hall is. Absolutely. I've been on national radio shows several times through the grace of God and through the awesome work that Clyde Lewis has done through the Ground Zero show. Okay, now, my fellow American citizens, what you want to do when you bring that video up, okay, because the transcript is online and the video of the physical testimonies that they gave as this commission hearing was being done, there's a video of it. It's almost 3 hours long. I think it's like 2 hours and 47 minutes long, something like that. You want to take notes of what they state, and some of the things they state are going to sound science fictionist, like the word synthetic telepathy. Don't walk away. When you research synthetic telepathy to gang stalking, what is synthetic telepathy? And then I'm going to, after I make this statement, I'm going to segue back to the subject matter, okay? Synthetic telepathy in gang stalking crimes is just another word that describes voice-to-skull technology. So when you hear descriptions, when you redo your research concerning either the subject matter of this video series and or any additional statements I make, okay? When you start researching gang stalking and you see things like mind control, that's remote neural monitoring, including in how remote neural monitoring can work in conjunction with voice-to-skull technology. Okay? Absolutely. Alright? So you just do your research with a mature adult investigative posture, and you have to be patient. And I'm telling you these additional things because when you go into that transcript and you watch the video of the hearing and you see targeted individuals' testimonies, you're going to hear things like electronic synthetic dreams. You might think to yourself, what the hell is that? You're literally going to say that to yourself. Because keep in mind, folks, the vast majority of American citizens don't even know that the crime of gang stalking exists. So if you don't know a crime exists, how are you going to know about what's happening to victims, reporting victims? How are you going to know what's happening to them and what their exposures mean if you don't even know about the crime itself? That's like you expecting to go, if you sign up for a calculus course at school, do you really think anybody in their right mind would say that you should know calculus now without ever entering the without ever having taken a calculus course? You're not going to understand what's going on with this crime until you listen to educated victims. We state our statements and our descriptions. You then take notes, then you do the research, and baby cakes, you'll see it. You'll see it. Okay? The brain will take that information in. It'll synthesize the information together. You then come up with a comprehensive conclusion. My name is Leslie Williams. I live in San Diego, California. I'm a target victim and activist concerned with the continued criminal expeditions. Sometimes I call them expeditions. It's nothing but an extreme criminal program perpetrated by, but not limited to, the United States government and federal and state and local law enforcement, working with state and county local governments and other tentacled partners, corporations, institutions, and much more. Much, much more. And you better believe Fortune 500 tech companies are involved in this crime, as well as Fortune 500 corporations are involved in this crime. This crime is occurring everywhere at the epidemic level, I kid you not. Listen to educated victims. This is how we learn truth. You're hearing facts right now. Okay? Educated knowledge comes from facts. Okay? Now, I'm going to now segue back into the subject matter of this particular video series. What did I discuss in video 1? I discussed in video 1, and by the way, when you watch the video dedicated to the Bioethics Commission testimony of targeted individuals, how many times are you going to hear the word biorobotization? How many times do you think you're going to hear that word, biorobotization? You're going to hear it at least once. And then when you do research into the term, the biorobotization of targeted individuals, Google that. You might want to also include gang stalking in your search query. Okay? And you should also know this crime also goes by the name of organized stalking. Okay? Absolutely. So keep in mind, folks, when we do our research, we got to know how to do it. You do that by following my instructions. The descriptions I make, the statements I make, you take key notes from that. You then do your research, and baby cakes, you'll see the truth. Now, let me segue in back to my statements, about the subject matter, which will be a direct continuation of where I left off at in the first video. Sorry. Now, in the first video, I said for people that what they should do is that they should write down the following two things. I'm going to regurgitate it just in case some people run across this video before they say video 1. What you want to do is you want to write down, how do the camera eyes of a robot see? You're going to take at least 12 scientific articles that come up when you type that in at Google, that come up. Take at least 12 scientific articles that come up, research them, take notes. Any keywords or descriptions that are within each one of those articles, you might have to do some additional research so you can thoroughly understand what that specific statement or description means. You got to do research into this with the mental posture of, I want to do research into this. It's the only way you're going to unlock the truth. Truth matters, folks. In this world today, especially when it comes to this crime, you better believe truth matters. Absolutely. These are truths you absolutely need to know about. Okay? Now, so, you want to go to Google and you want to type in at Google, how do the camera eyes of a robot see? Harvest at least 12 scientific articles, do research from the information from each article, write down specific descriptions, the relative descriptions, okay, that are within these articles, and then continue to research that. This is going to take you at least a month and a half. Because you got to remember, unless you got specific PhD equivalent educated degrees about some of the things some of the descriptions that you see, you're going to have to look for additional information so you can see descriptive statements about them in layman's terms. And it's worth the time. It is worth the time. You ever wonder why my eyes look so white? Just stay tuned to this account, sweethearts. Just trust me. Okay? Alright, so moving forward, the next Google search you want to Google will be, how do robots verbally talk about what they see through what they see? Okay? Do the same type of research that. Take 12 scientific articles, harvest them, research them, do any additional research from certain statements and instruct certain statements within those articles. You can, because what you want to do is you want to see, when it comes to understanding this, you're going to have to, when you do the research, you're going to look for keynotes and highlights and very descriptive statements related to what you type in, so you can see how the robot engages in these two separate functions. How do they see? How do they verbally talk about what they see? Okay? Then the brain will organize the data, and you'll come up with a comprehensive conclusion. Now, you're going to understand why this is relevant here in a few minutes, or at least in video 3. Now, when you watch the movie Rocky 3, which was talked about in video 1, and you don't have to watch the movie Rocky 3. All you got to really do is go into YouTube search box and type in the movie Rocky 3 robot scenes. And you want to look for the scene that shows the robot commenting on Rocky's brother-in-law and the car chauffeur putting luggage in the trunk of a car. The robot has seen him do it. They kind of get a little bit tumbled about. The robot's seeing that the luggage is not fitting in there. They're not throwing the luggage in the trunk, but they're putting it in the trunk in a way to where the luggage is getting a little bit banged about, physically banged about. The robot has seen it, so then he makes a verbal comment about it. So what do we have here concerning a robot, this type of robot? And by the way, Rocky 3 was made in 1991. What year is it now? 2025. What did I say a few minutes ago? The bio-robotization of a human being. Gang stalking crimes. Now just listen. Okay. So, in order for a robot to be able to visually watch something with camera eyes, and then how does that visual data go to a software program for it to be then digitally compressed and then opened up so then another software program can analyze the contents of that visual picture? So let me interject some additional statements in here in order to bring home a point. Right now you're seeing me make a video. I'm holding up one finger, I'm holding up two. I got the V sign going, baby cakes. Okay? Alright? Absolutely. What else can I show you? Hold on. I'm holding you up a pack of cigarettes. You're seeing it right now in front of you. You are now seeing it in side view. You are now seeing the back of it. You are now seeing another frontal view of it, which is actually the top view. I know a little bit about architecture. I actually got a bachelor equivalent in architectural drafting. I also went to school for electrical engineering, solid state physics, and much more. Absolutely. Hold on. Now, why did I show you this pack of cigarettes? Why did I show you lifting up my finger, 1, 2, and anything? When you're seeing me, my face, even though it looks kind of messed up, because of the effects of targeting, literally. How are you seeing the things that I do and the things that I show you? By and through your retina, taking in a certain amount of light, and that light is going into different mechanisms of the eye. Okay, you got rods, cones, the way the eye processes light, phosphenes, and much more. It integrates that visual imagery through photoreceptors and a bunch more. It goes through the optical nerve to the visual cortex, and it becomes a visual picture, just like a camera. In fact, when you blink your eyes at how long does it take for your eyes to blink? 200 milliseconds per second. How long does it take for a camera to shutter? If you don't understand what shutter means, just Google it. You'll understand it in less than a minute. Okay? The shutter speed of a camera, 200 milliseconds. How long does it take for visual imagery to get processed in the brain once you see it with your eyes? 200 milliseconds. Now, you understand why this is important here in a few minutes as I continue to talk. Now, when the robot in the movie Rocky III, made in 1991, the robot is seeing what the brother-in-law is doing with the luggage, and he's also seeing the chauffeur. He's seeing the fact that the luggage is being put from the ground into the car trunk, and he's seeing that some of the luggage is not fitting in there correctly. And so the robot, seeing this with the camera eyes, what it's doing is the camera eyes, that visual imagery of what the camera eyes are seeing, just like the camera that I'm making this video through, enables you to, well, it's not just, I don't know if it's just like it or not, but the concept is very similar. So the camera eyes are seeing it, and it's going to a software program at the speed of light, by the way. If it's not at the speed of light, it's very close to it. Supercomputer, very, very, very fast. Okay? So what's happening here is that the camera eyes of the robot, what it sees visually is being sent to a visual deciphering software program that digitally breaks down visual imagery. And then from there, it makes a comprehensive conclusion concerning what that visual imagery is, the context of it. Like, if it's seen a tree, it will then translate the visual imagery, the deciphering of what the visual imagery is composed of, the tree, and it will send it to a visual to text translation. Okay? Which means that it sees the tree, and then the visual software deciphers the visual contents of what the camera lens eyes are seeing, and it sees that the camera eye lens, that the visual software distinguishes that the camera of the eyes of the robot is seeing a tree. It then translates that into a word by and through using other specific functions of that software program. So it's just basically visual to text translation. The visual imagery is translated that the camera eyes are seeing a tree. It then, once that's concluded, it then gets transferred, the description of that object then gets translated into the verbal description of the text of the visual imagery, which means then it gets translated into a word, tree. Okay? Right. Now, so then, if the robot's eyes are seeing sequential visual information, case in point, as an example, right now, I'm going to take my right arm with my right hand and wrist, and I'm going to pick up cement. Now, let's imagine that I got a obviously, hypothetically, let's imagine that there's a robot like the one in Rocky 3 seeing me do this. So let me do it, because I gotta take a drink of milk anyways. So right now I'm reaching for my milk, and I'm bringing it towards me. In fact, let's imagine that this is a bottle of Pepsi, even though I don't drink Pepsi. I don't drink soda. It's only on rare occasion I'll drink soda, and when I do, I drink Squirt. So right now, let's imagine this is a bottle of Pepsi. I just unscrewed the lid. I'm putting it to my mouth. I'm taking a drink of it, and then I'm going to burp. Now, let's say a robot see me do that. The robot is then is distinguishing that action. It's distinguishing the action that I did it, and it's distinguished through the camera on its implants, and it is distinguishing and deciphering the fact that I picked up a bottle of Pepsi. And so what the robot will do is the robot is seeing that. The software is deciphering each one of those actions and its contents, the contents of what I'm picking up and the fact that I'm drinking it. It's literally picking up all that data. And that's the type of deciphering that the visual software is doing. And then it takes each action and each object seen and how the option is related to the action, and it deciphers it in the visual software program. So in other words, the text that will come out from the visual software program about that action will be, Leslie picked up some Pepsi and drank it. That then gets deciphered. And then what will happen is that the auditorial output that comes from the robot about that action sequence and the content of it will spit out to the person, Leslie, Pepsi is not good for you. Please don't drink Pepsi. So what am I illustrating here? I'm illustrating the concept to you that visual input gets deciphered to text through digital software deciphering program. It analyzes the content that makes up what the camera lens saw, every bit of what the camera lens saw, and then it deciphers it into text so that a text sequence can be created that then describes what the visual imagery of the camera lens saw, right? Then what it will do is it will then be run through an auditorial program that has specific names concerning the description of what that auditorial software program is. And then what that will do is like a dictionary of words. What that will do then, okay, because this auditorial software program has got parameters set up concerning what type of contextual word sequences that will be created for that will then go back to the robot, so that the voice synthesizer that is in the robot that allows it to speak, it will then speak the auditorial sequence that the auditorial program contextually sequenced. Okay, if I say to you, Leslie, don't. If I say right now, Leslie, don't drink Pepsi, that's the type of text that the auditorial program will sequence, will create. Each word of that sentence makes up the sentence, and then the sentence is the sequence of the words. Leslie, don't drink Pepsi. That's what will get created, because the software program has other types of subroutines in it that make up the type why the robot would make up that type of statement. Like, just as an example, okay, would be like trying to find the right words for it, would be something like this subroutine of this software pertaining to what type of context would be sequenced to then be spoken by the robot through a voice synthesizer, would be along the lines of that subroutine being programmed like, watch out for Leslie's health. Is Leslie doing something that's detrimental to the health? So the computer will even analyze that what Pepsi is, the ingredients of it. We're talking about a supercomputer here, folks, that is able to grab different chunks of information and sequence it easily back to, because this is the subroutine part of the program. And then it says, okay, the subroutine is, we got to look out for Leslie's health. Is Leslie doing something that's not good for her? Okay, right? And then it takes the object of the Pepsi, it deciphers it, it then goes and looks at the contents of what Pepsi's made of, it analyzes it, literally, just like Google search. Google search is on the supercomputer. You type in at Google search, what ingredients is in a German chocolate cake that is not good for you? And less than 0.01 seconds later, Google search will spit back to you a bunch of websites showing the ingredients of a German chocolate shake and what of those ingredients are not good for the human body. Same concept. Baby cakes and munchkin butts, you are learning truth. This is a reality. Now, this is how the visual information from the camera lens, from the camera eyes, gets deciphered. It then communicates with the visual software program, translate that visual imagery to text. The text is a description of what the visual imagery was composed of. Like, again, as an example, this is a Mylar sleeping bag. Okay? Alright? Well, it's able to take this type of information and decipher what it is. It then gets translated into speech. Then the rest of the visual imagery, okay, that might have been a bad example. Like if I hold up these cigarettes and the robot camera eye saw this, it would then get translated from visual imagery to text, the description of what it is. It will then create an auditorial output after it creates an auditorial sequence of, Leslie, don't smoke, that's bad for you. Now, why am I doing this? Because I'm trying to illustrate to you that the visual camera eyes is integrated with the auditorial, with the creation of an auditorial sequence. The visual and the auditorial software is integrated in order to get the correct type of pre-programmed parameter auditorial output, okay, that then goes to the voice synthesizer of the robot, and then the robot says what has been spit out and gathered together for auditory sequences from the auditorial software. This is how a robot operates. Now, let's imagine for a second that you got a gang stalking victim who's got visual prosthetic implants in them, who's also got auditory implants in them, and the fact that are they integrated together. What you see goes to the computer deciphers it, and then it sends back to the ear implant something about what you see. And trust me when I say, folks, right now, and take this down to the marrow of your bones, every single thing this victim would see, they would be harassed about like you would not believe, and much more. The people that run this crime are completely and totally, dementedly, completely criminally insane. They're vile animals. So I'm getting ready to conclude. Oh, absolutely. I'm getting ready to conclude this. Because think to yourself, when you type in the bio-robotization of targeted individuals and you look at the search results and you follow my instructions that I made so far in video 1 and 2 of this video series, you might think to yourself, why is there information on the internet strongly stating, including by doctors, scientists, professors, lawyers, and thousands of educated victims, why are they saying I'm being bio-robotized? Bio is an abbreviation for the word biology, which includes our neurological functions, and a robot means you're being programmed. Thank you for listening.